Okay, picture this. It's the year 2026. You're looking out over the water from Cape Town, but the horizon, it's just jammed. Jammed with Russian corvettes, Iranian destroyers, and these massive Chinese warships. You can just feel the tension in the air. So what in the world is going on? Well, that's what we're breaking down today. You're looking at a massive naval exercise, what some are calling the 2026 BRICS Armada. And yeah, BRICS as in Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. They're right at the center of this whole thing, so let's get into it. Now, the official line, the story they're putting out, is that this huge gathering of naval power is an essential response to things getting more and more unstable on the oceans. But as you're about to see, there is way more to it than that. And get this, it actually has a name that is just packed with geopolitical meaning. Exercise Will for Peace. Kind of an interesting name for a giant fleet of warships, right? So who exactly got the invite to this party? I mean, who is behind this massive show of force? Let's take a look at the guest list. All right, so your main participants are China, Iran, Russia, and of course the host, South Africa. And then you've got Brazil and Indonesia watching everything very closely from the sidelines. And look, this is not some random group of countries. This is a very specific, very significant lineup. Each one of them has a reason to be there, a reason to challenge the way things are on the high seas. Now here's where it gets really interesting, the timing. A huge international war game like this doesn't just pop up out of nowhere. Something had to have happened, right? So what was the spark that lit this fuse? And there it is, cause and effect, laid out plain and simple. Right before the exercise begins, the United States seizes a Russian oil tanker. This is no coincidence. This is a direct response. It's action and reaction playing out on the global stage for everyone to see. So this brings us to the real heart of the matter. What is the actual message being sent with all these ships in the water? Is this genuinely about making the seas safer, or is it something else entirely? See, you've got two completely different stories here. On one hand, the official mission sounds great, to ensure maritime safety. Can't argue with that. But on the other hand, you absolutely cannot ignore the geopolitical signal it's sending, a clear flexing of military muscle aimed right at Washington. And you better believe Washington got the message. They don't pull any punches in the response. The U.S. comes right out and labels these countries an anti-American bloc. So yeah, the battle lines are drawn. There is zero confusion about how this is being interpreted. Let's just pause on that for a second. Think about the real world here. Imagine you're the captain of a neutral cargo ship, just trying to do your job, and you see this monster armada on the horizon. An armada calling itself Will for Peace. Does that name make you feel safer? Or does it make you feel absolutely terrified? So, after all this posturing, this high-stakes game of naval chess, what's the big lesson here? What's the final takeaway from this whole showdown? Well, it really all comes down to one key concept. And that concept is hard power projection. It's a classic idea in international relations. It's all about a country's ability to use its military and its economic strength to get other countries to do what it wants. And this exercise? It's a textbook example. You know, the source material we're looking at has this perfect metaphor for the whole situation. It describes Exercise Will for Peace as, and I quote, a neighborhood watch where everyone is carrying a flamethrower.
Wow, that's a pretty chilling and probably accurate way to put it.
In the end, the lesson we're learning from Cape Town in 2026 is brutally simple. It's a harsh reminder of a really old truth in global politics. When the talking stops, when diplomacy just isn't working, you send a destroyer. And that leaves us with one last, pretty sobering question to chew on. In a world with tensions this high, with alliances shifting all the time, is this what's next? Are we really entering an age where flotillas and fighter jets become the new ambassadors? The answer to that is probably going to define the world we live in.